You read the title. You want to build a fortune in 30 days. You are desperately looking for the secret formula that will instantly fix your life. Let me tell you the absolute truth. You have been completely lied to by a society that feeds on your desperation. There is no magic pill. There is no overnight trick that will turn a drifter into a king. You are exhausted. You work harder than anyone else you know. You read the books and you watch the videos while the rest of the world is sleeping. Yet the breakthrough you were promised never seems to arrive. It feels as though you are driving with the emergency brake pulled tight. You think it is a lack of effort. You think you just need to grind harder tomorrow. I am here to tell you that your physical effort is not the problem. You do not have a motivation problem. You have a programming problem. Deep within the architecture of your subconscious mind, there is a broken script running on an endless loop. This invisible enemy is quietly sabotaging every conscious step you take toward wealth and peace. Stop what you are doing and listen. Truly listen. Most men will spend their entire lives fighting this ghost without ever knowing it exists. They chase money with their physical bodies while their internal frequency repels it. You cannot outwork a mind that fundamentally believes it is destined to struggle. Your conscious mind wants the empire, but your subconscious mind is comfortable in the dirt. There are two kinds of men in this world. The drifter lets his outdated programming dictate his reality. He complains about the economy and begs the universe for a lucky break. The creator operates on a completely different plane of existence. The creator knows that wealth is never chased. Wealth is magnetized. It is the natural byproduct of a mind operating on a specific and disciplined frequency. You must understand the gravity of your situation. Every time you attempt to build something great, your invisible enemy tears it down. You start a new project with massive enthusiasm. Then a quiet voice of doubt creeps in and paralyzes your actions. That is not bad luck. That is your own internal gatekeeper keeping you locked inside the prison of your old identity. The universe does not respond to your physical sweat. It responds to your energetic signature. If you go to sleep anxious about bills, you are giving your subconscious mind a clear command. You are literally instructing it to build more poverty for you tomorrow. You are acting as the architect of your own misery, and you do it completely by accident. Society tells you to hustle until you bleed. The false gurus sell you cheap tricks and tell you to fake it until you make it. They want you distracted and running on a hamster wheel, because a distracted man is a weak man. A man who does not control his own mind is easily controlled by others. You must reject this modern slavery immediately. Do you want to win? Do you want to taste the kind of success that makes average men uncomfortable? Then you must stop fighting the symptoms and start attacking the disease. You must rip out the root of your poverty consciousness. Until you rewrite the internal script, every empire you attempt to build will collapse under the weight of your unseen fears. Important note, this is timeless wisdom. Read the description below this video to aid you in achieving the optimum results. You clicked on a title that promised wealth in 1 month. That is the ultimate trap for the drifter. The drifter measures success by the clock on the wall. He wants the harvest before he has even prepared the soil. The 1% do not operate on the clock. They operate on universal law. A month is nothing but a human construct, but a shift in frequency is eternal. Look around you right now. You see men with less intelligence and less talent living the life you deeply desire. They seem to glide through life with an invisible wind at their backs. You watch them, and a quiet resentment builds in your chest. You wonder what they have that you lack. They will call it luck. They will say they were just born into the right circumstances. Do not believe the lies of the masses. Those men are not lucky. They simply possess a mental architecture that you have not yet built. They have tamed the chaotic forces of their own minds. While you are wasting your energy fighting external battles, they have already won the war inside their own heads. They are sovereign commanders of their internal reality. You are currently a prisoner of your own past. Every failure you have ever experienced left a digital scar on your nervous system. Your brain recorded those moments of shame and decided to protect you from ever taking action again. So it built an invisible wall. It disguised this wall as procrastination. It disguised it as perfectionism. It disguised it as a lack of time. Wake up and look at the wall. It is an illusion. You are sitting in a cage with the door wide open. You spend all your vital energy resisting your own potential. This internal friction is what makes you feel heavy before you even step out of bed. Nothing changes until your mind changes. You can move to a new city or start a new business. You can read 100 new books. But if you take your broken subconscious script with you, the new business will fail exactly like the old one. The new city will become just as suffocating as the last. You cannot escape yourself. This is the most important realization you will ever have. Your mind is a flawless reflection of your current reality. If your bank account is empty, it is because your internal frequency is vibrating at the level of scarcity. You are broadcasting a signal of lack into the universe every single second, and the universe is simply echoing it back to you. You are standing at a crossroads. You can close this video and return to the comforting lies of the drifter. You can go back to waiting for a miracle that will never come. Or you can make a ruthless decision right here and right now. You can decide to strip away the victim mentality and claim absolute responsibility for your own mind. The choice is yours alone. Today I will show you exactly how to locate that corrupt script. You will learn how to rip it out by the roots and reprogram your mind to attract success as effortlessly as gravity. But before we can rebuild the temple, we must understand how it was built in the first place. You must confront the cold and unyielding laws of the mental universe. Understand this truth before we go any further. The universe works by law and not by a clock. You are accustomed to measuring your progress by time, and you think that 10 hours of work deserves a reward. But universal forces do not care about your human clock. They only respond to the precise frequency of your mind. This is not philosophy. That is absolute law. It is as real and unforgiving as the law of gravity. If you step off a building, gravity will pull you down regardless of your good intentions and your positive attitude. The law of mental dominion operates exactly the same way. What you hold in your dominant thoughts will inevitably dictate your physical reality. You must recognize the profound difference between the two archetypes of men. The drifter floats through his life completely unaware of this law. When the economy dips, the drifter panics and lowers his frequency because he lets the external world dictate his internal state. The creator stands firm and commands his environment to bend to his will. Your subconscious mind is a tireless contractor. It builds exactly what you instruct it to build before you go to sleep, and it uses your final emotions as the blueprints for tomorrow. If you hand the contractor blueprints of fear, it will work all night. It will construct a reality of scarcity for you to wake up in. The contractor never questions orders. Stop what you are doing and examine your own mind. What was the dominant thought you held over the last 24 hours? Was it a vision of your empire, or was it a heavy anxiety about a bill you need to pay while you were trying to rest? Every thought is a seed, and every action is water. Your current reality is simply the harvest of past thoughts. The drifter refuses to accept this responsibility. He looks at his empty bank account and blames his boss or his family because it is far easier to point fingers than to look in the mirror. He believes that wealth is a game of chance reserved for the lucky few, because it is painful to admit that you are the author of your misery. But you are not a victim. You are the architect of destiny. The problem is not that you lack power, but that you have been using your immense power to create exactly what you do not want in your life. You have been a sovereign commander who accidentally ordered his own troops to destroy his own castle. You must halt this destruction immediately. Now let me make this plain. Drifting is the ultimate enemy of the 1%. A drifter lets the opinions of weak men dictate his internal state, and he leaves the door to his mind wide open for any stray thought to enter. You must become the ruthless mental gatekeeper of your own temple. You must guard the door. If a man walked into your house and started throwing garbage on your floor, you would fight him. You would throw him out immediately. Yet every single day, you allow the world to dump mental garbage directly into your brain. You scroll through endless negativity and you call it staying informed. You are poisoning your own well. This is where the transformation actually begins. You must develop a cold calmness. When chaos erupts around you, the drifter screams and panics, but the builder simply observes the data without letting it corrupt his internal peace. The builder knows that external reality is just a delayed reflection of old thoughts. Do not confuse this with foolish optimism. We are not talking about blindly hoping for a better tomorrow. Hope is a word for the weak. We do not hope for success because hope implies that failure is a possibility, and we refuse to entertain that option. We design it and we expect it. You are a creator and you demand certainty. Listen to me carefully. A wrong decision is always better than no decision at all. The drifter avoids making choices because he is terrified of failing, so he sits in the gray zone of hesitation for decades while his potential slowly rots away. But hesitation is a frequency of decay. The universe honors the man who makes a firm choice. Wealth is not chased, it is magnetized. When you chase something, you are subconsciously declaring that it is running away from you, and you are operating from a state of pure lack. To magnetize wealth, you must first become wealthy in the invisible architecture of your mind. You must act as if the empire is already fully built. You might look at your current circumstances and laugh at this idea. You might say it is impossible to feel wealthy when you are drowning in debt. But that is exactly why the masses remain poor and miserable. They demand to see the physical evidence before they change their thoughts. They want the fire to give them heat before they put in the wood. The laws of the universe operate in the exact reverse order. You must provide the mental wood first. You must generate the frequency of abundance while you are still standing in the dirt, and this is the ultimate test of the sovereign commander. Can you hold a vision of triumph when your physical eyes only see defeat and struggle? This requires a brutal level of discipline. It is simple, but it is profoundly demanding. When the voice of poverty whispers in your ear, you must silence it instantly, because you cannot hold fear and faith in the same mental space. One will always consume the other. You must wage war on your doubts every single hour. Let the weak men keep their excuses. Let them continue to drift and complain. You are stepping into the arena of the mind where fortunes are actually forged, but you do not have to rely on blind faith to understand this law. Let us look to the titans of history who used this exact hidden mechanism to conquer the world. How did a man with no education and no money build the largest steel empire in history? It was not luck. He used a specific mental protocol that you can replicate tonight. The masses look at Andrew Carnegie and they see a billionaire. They assume he had wealthy friends or hidden advantages. But Carnegie started in the dirt just like you. The difference was his mental architecture. He refused to drift. He did not hope for wealth. Hope is for the drifter who waits for the weather to change. Carnegie commanded his mind to build an empire. He wrote down his exact monetary goal, and he read it aloud every single day. He burned this target into his subconscious mind until it became an obsession. He understood that a man with a definite chief aim is an unstoppable force in this universe. Let us look to the example of Henry Ford. The engineers told Ford that casting an 8-cylinder engine block in one piece was physically impossible. What did Ford do? He did not accept the physical limitation. He told them to produce it anyway. He kept his mind locked entirely on the final outcome. The Creator does not care about the current obstacles because obstacles are just temporary illusions. Ford held the frequency of certainty. He forced his internal reality onto the external world until the world bent to his command. His engineers eventually found the solution because Ford refused to let them drift into failure. He was the sovereign commander of his environment. He proved that when you hold a vision with absolute authority, the physical world has no choice but to obey you. You might listen to these stories and think they are just historical myths. You might demand hard scientific proof before you commit your mind to this path. Then let us examine the biology of your own brain. Modern neuroscience has completely validated what these titans knew a century ago. It is not magic. It is a precise biological mechanism running inside your head right now. There is a network of neurons at the base of your brain called the Reticular Activating System. We will call it the RAS. This system is the ultimate gatekeeper of your reality. In any given second, there are millions of pieces of sensory data flooding your brain. If you processed all of it, you would go insane. So your biological gatekeeper filters out the noise and only lets in what matters. But how does this system know what is important? It does not decide for itself. It simply looks at the dominant thoughts you have been holding. If you constantly think about your debts and your failures, your brain assumes that poverty is your primary interest. It will literally block out opportunities for wealth because they do not match your programmed frequency. You could walk right past $1 million idea and your brain would hide it from you. You would not even see it. This is why the drifter remains trapped in his miserable life. He is constantly scanning his environment for threats and problems, and his biological system flawlessly delivers more threats and more problems. He is a victim of his own misdirected mental machinery. Now let us look at the architect of destiny. When you fix your mind on a definite chief aim of wealth, you give your system a new set of orders. You force it to scan the environment for resources and connections. Suddenly, you start seeing opportunities that were always there. They were invisible before because your mind was blinded by fear. This is how you magnetize success. You are literally rewiring your biological hardware. This is the exact mechanism that Nikola Tesla used to pull world-changing ideas out of the invisible ether. Tesla did not invent from the conscious mind. He programmed his subconscious contractor and let it do the heavy lifting while he rested. You possess the exact same biological machinery, but you have left it running on default settings. Stop what you are doing and listen. Say this aloud right now. I am the master of my focus. Say it until your body believes it. You must take deliberate control over this biological filter today. Every time you allow yourself to complain, you are programming your brain to find more things to complain about. You are actively digging your own grave with your careless words. You must become ruthless with your attention. The 1% guard their focus like a sacred temple. They do not watch the news and they do not engage in petty arguments. They know that every piece of negative data corrupts their mental programming. If you want to build generational wealth, you must immediately cut off the toxic supply of information that society feeds you. Your mind is a pristine mirror. If you hold it up to the mud, it will reflect mud. If you hold it up to the stars, it will reflect the stars. The universe will always give you exactly what your brain is programmed to find. You cannot trick the system. You cannot fake a frequency of wealth while secretly harboring a deep terror of poverty. The fear will always override the desire. You now know the biological mechanism. You know the history. The drifter will hear this truth and do absolutely nothing. He will go back to his distractions and his excuses. The Creator will use this knowledge tonight to begin rewiring his reality. Which one are you? Are you ready to stop acting like a victim of your biology and start commanding it like a powerful king? You have the proof. You understand the law of the mental universe and you see how your own brain enforces it. But knowing the law is only the beginning. Knowledge without execution is just another form of drifting. You must now learn how to apply this force systematically. You need the exact protocol to overwrite your corrupted code. And that brings us to the ritual. You think you are losing your mind because you no longer relate to your old friends. You look at the people around you, and their conversations suddenly feel completely empty. They complain about their jobs, and they gossip about their failures. You feel an overwhelming urge to walk away from them. Here is the truth that no one tells you. You are not losing your mind. You are losing your programming. This profound isolation is the very first sign of your mental evolution. The universe is enforcing a cosmic housekeeping upon your life. Do not panic and do not try to fit back into their miserable boxes. The drifter is terrified of being alone because he needs the crowd to validate his existence. But the architect of destiny demands silence. He knows that he must clear the rotting wood before he can build a new empire. You must develop a cold calmness right now. When people walk out of your life, you do not beg them to stay. You let them go. Their departure is simply the universe making room for your new frequency. You are stepping into the 1%, and the 1% is not a crowded place. Embrace the silence. It is not loneliness. It is absolute sovereignty. Say this aloud right now. I command my space, and I accept my evolution. Your environment will test your resolve immediately. You will face unexpected bills or sudden setbacks at work. The drifter looks at these events and immediately assumes the universe is punishing him. He folds his hand and retreats to his old habits. You must view these events as mere data. A sovereign commander does not react emotionally to a storm. He observes the rain and adjusts his sails without a single heartbeat of panic. Now, we must give your mind a precise target. You cannot hit a target that you have not clearly defined. The masses have vague desires like wanting more money or wanting to be happy. The subconscious mind does not understand vague desires. It only understands razor-sharp commands. You must establish your definite chief aim today. You must define the exact amount of wealth you intend to magnetize and the exact date it will arrive. Do not choose 5 goals. Do not divide your vital energy across multiple useless projects. Choose one single magnificent obsession. Write it down on a piece of paper and carry it in your pocket everywhere you go. Read it until the words burn themselves into the deepest layers of your brain. The mental gatekeeper does not allow distractions. Your focus must become as concentrated as a laser beam cutting through solid steel. You must act as if the wealth is already yours. The drifter waits for the money to arrive before he changes his posture. The sovereign commander walks and speaks with absolute authority while his pockets are still empty. He assumes the identity of a king because he knows the physical gold is simply on its way. Your internal reality must dictate your external behavior. There is no room for hesitation or doubt. You must embody the frequency of a billionaire long before the bank confirms it. How does a powerful creator walk into a room? How does he speak to his colleagues? Does he complain about the weather? No. He commands respect through his silent presence. You must wear this identity like a suit of armor starting this very second. The universe will rush to match your physical reality to your dominant internal state. This brings us to the most sacred practice of the creator. Your subconscious is a tireless contractor. What you feed it in the final 15 minutes before you sleep determines your entire reality for the next day. Most men take their phones to bed and scroll through endless anxiety. They feed their contractor blueprints of fear and panic, and then they wonder why they wake up feeling completely exhausted and defeated. You will stop this destructive habit tonight. Your bedroom is now a temple. No screens and no news and no chaotic conversations before you sleep. For 15 minutes, you will lie in total darkness and close your eyes. You will visualize your definite chief aim as a completed fact. You will feel the exact physical sensation of holding that ultimate success in your own hands. You will hand the contractor a flawless blueprint. Stop waiting for tomorrow. Close your eyes for a brief moment right now. Picture the one thing you desire most. Feel the heavy weight of it. Feel the certainty that it already belongs to you. Hold that frequency. This is the exact mental posture you must take into your sleep every single night. If you commit to this ritual, your subconscious will work all night long to magnetize the exact resources you require. But make no mistake, this is not for the weak. It is simple, but it requires a brutal level of mental discipline. Tomorrow morning, the physical world will try to pull you back down into the mud. Your old fears will attempt to sabotage your new programming. The drifter will surrender to the friction and abandon the practice after a single day. He will crawl back to his familiar misery because it is comfortable and safe. You do not have the luxury of giving up. If you break your discipline, you are choosing poverty. You are actively deciding to remain a slave to your environment. Do not blame the economy and do not blame your past. If you fail to control your mind, you are the only one responsible for your ruined life. You are the architect. If the building collapses, it is simply because your foundation was compromised by your own negligence. You must protect this new frequency with your life. You must turn this ritual into an unbreakable iron law. But how do you survive the friction when the entire world is constantly screaming at you to fail? How do you ensure that this new identity becomes permanently welded to your soul? There is a final threshold you must cross. You must make the ultimate declaration. The time for drifting is over. You have heard the law. You now know that every excuse you have ever made was nothing but a shadow. You can no longer hide behind the lie that you are just a victim of circumstance because the universe has handed you the exact mechanism of creation today. There is no more ignorance to protect your fragile ego. The drifter will hear these words and feel a temporary surge of motivation. He will close this video and immediately return to his chaotic life. He will let the noise of the world wash away the truth, and by tomorrow morning he will be exactly where he started. But you are not the drifter. You are the architect of your own destiny. You must make a brutal decision right now. Hesitation is the absolute death of destiny. You must take your old self and you must destroy it. The man who complains and the man who makes excuses cannot coexist with the sovereign commander. So one of them must die today so the other can finally build the empire. Do you understand the gravity of this moment? You are standing on the edge of the divide between the 1% and the masses. The masses choose the comfort of their misery because it is familiar, and they let fear write the script of their entire lives. You must say no more. No more small thinking and no more settling for the dirt. The world is waiting for a disciplined thinker. It is waiting for a conscious creator who has chosen to rise above the mental noise. That man is already inside of you, and it is time to wake him up and hand him the sword. You must command your mind to stop acting like a terrified servant and start ruling like a king. Look deeply at your life. Look at the empty bank accounts and the broken promises. Look at the invisible cage you have built with your own fearful thoughts. You built that cage, and only you hold the key to open it. No one is coming to save you, because the government is not coming, and your friends cannot fix your internal frequency. You are entirely responsible for your reality. If you fail from this day forward, it is because you chose to fail. If you succeed, it is because you demanded success with absolute certainty. You are one firm decision away from momentum, and you are one mental shift away from a completely new life. But that shift demands your complete commitment. There is no neutral thought in your head. Every single thought is either pushing you forward or pulling you back into the abyss. It is either moving you toward absolute freedom or reinforcing your heavy chains. The man who realizes this begins to treat his thoughts as powerful weapons, and he does not play with them carelessly. You did not click this video by accident. You came here as a man completely exhausted by the drift. You were tired of playing the victim to an economy designed to keep you down. But today you have remembered exactly who you are, and you understand that you are the ultimate mental gatekeeper. From this night forward, you will act independently of fleeting motivation. You are a relentless builder in the invisible season. When the world tells you it is impossible, you will simply smile with cold calmness. You know that the physical world is just a delayed shadow of your internal commands. Stand up right now and claim your throne. The universe has absolutely no choice but to bend to your disciplined mind. Now we reach the sacred threshold. You cannot just listen to this and walk away. The subconscious requires a physical action to lock in a new belief. You must seal this frequency with a definitive vow, and you must step out of the shadows to declare your intention to the world. A silent commitment is easily broken by the coward within. So, what will your legacy actually be? Will you be remembered as the man who allowed doubt to define his existence? Or will you be remembered as the titan who looked fear in the face and said, "Not today"? This is the moment you sign a contract with your own destiny, and you must draw a line in the sand that you will never cross again. Go to the comments below this video right now. Write your definite chief aim. State the exact empire you are going to build. Do not type a vague desire, but write a precise and absolute command to the universe. Let those words be the ironclad contract you sign with your future self. When you write it down, you are telling your subconscious mind that it is already done. Read the words you type. Say them aloud as you write them. Let the vibration of those words rewire the architecture of your brain. Every time doubt creeps in, you will return to that comment and remember the vow you made today. It will stand as a monument to the exact moment you stopped drifting and started conquering. This knowledge is incredibly heavy. It will not serve you if you hear it only once and let it fade into the chaotic noise of tomorrow. Your corrupt programming took years to build. It requires relentless repetition to tear it down and build a new world. Therefore, I command you to listen to this lesson again and again. Play this video as you prepare for sleep. Let these laws be the very last thing your subconscious mind hears before the contractor goes to work. Play it as you drive and play it as you work, so you can make these principles the only voice you tolerate in your head. Drown out the weak voices of the masses with the frequency of absolute truth. Subscribe to this channel if this tradition is yours. Join the ranks of the 1% who refuse to live an average life. Share this with the brother who is building an empire alongside you, but do not share it with the drifters because they will only mock what they cannot understand. Keep your circle tight and keep your frequency pure. Never again let a negative thought decide your future. You are the master of your fate, and you are the ultimate captain of your soul. Make the decision right now and absolutely never look back. Your new life begins in this exact moment, so step forward and command your reality forever.